Ladies and gents, boys and girls, welcome. This is the Monday Power Hour SEC football call-in show. We are here taking your questions, your comments, your calls as well at 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485 as we react to week number 8 of the college football season. I already see my good friend John Edward Kruger in the comments. What's up, JEK? Appreciate you tuning in. Again, guys, be sure to give us a call, 803-500-1485. You can also comment on Facebook, YouTube, X, wherever you're consuming this show. You can check us out there. Again, you can interact with the show. You can engage. Again, want to hear from you. This show is for you guys here on the Monday Power Hour. My good friend Hacksaw Jim Duggan, number 25, by the way, Hacksaw. Put some respect on Hacksaw's name. Doors are coming, Christopher. Yeah, we're coming to Nashville, Tennessee. Really excited to get on the road. Obviously, man, hey, looking forward to a good time. Lot 2, I believe it is. Lot 2. We'll collab on that. We will be in Lot 2. I can assure you of that. Lot number 2, we will be there. Going to be one hell of a time. Cannot wait. I've been to Nashville once before. It was for SEC Media Days. But I've never been to a Vanderbilt football game. I've never even seen Vandy Stadium. I've never even seen the stadium. I didn't stop by the last time I was there. So that was my only time I've ever gone to Nashville. Cannot wait, man. Going to be heading out on Friday, getting there Friday afternoon. Going to be there through the weekend. He says Lot 2, where the domestics are cold. We'd have it no other way, my friend. Excited to link up with you, the rest of the Door Report crew. Our preview for that game, by the way, Texas and Vanderbilt just dropped over on YouTube. Will be out via podcast later today. Highly, highly encourage you check that one out. Highly encourage you. I promise you. It is one for the ages. We had a good time with it, man. Talking Texas, talking Vandy. Going to be a lot of fun. And again, we're going to be there hanging out with all the Doors, all the Longhorns, but certainly excited for the SEC Unfiltered Tour to make our way to Nashville, Tennessee. Guys, phone lines are open, 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. Of course, guys, as always, make sure you like, subscribe. If you're on YouTube especially, check us out via podcast where you get those as well. Make sure you're following us on whatever social media platform you're tuning in on. If you're tuning in on a social media platform, guys, we would love for you guys to follow along. Content bleeding out of the eyeballs each and every single day. Want to take a moment, guys, of course, as I feel like I do every single Monday, which we should, of course, to express gratitude and thanks to the place that we just stopped over this previous weekend. Knoxville. What a time Knoxville was. Number 1, by the way, guys, the most beautiful drive in and out of anywhere I've been. You know, riding through the Great Smoky Mountains, riding through the mountains in western North Carolina. My way back yesterday, I rode through Cherokee, North Carolina, saw elk on my way home, saw just incredible views. And I love that part of the country. For anybody who knows me, you've been tuning in for any length of time, you know I love to travel up there, love to go up there and ski. Already got a couple trips planned for the ski season, by the way, hint, hint. Love that part of the country. So Knoxville, the city itself, absolutely beautiful. Probably one of the more beautiful downtowns of any SEC city that I've seen to this point when it comes to the SEC Unfiltered Tour. Yeah, just incredible. Guys, again, going even further into it, man, I mean, listen. And I want to shout out everybody that's tuned in, by the way. Mike Tyler, Travis Rowell, got a lot of Gamecock folks in here. Mark Anderson, Xavier Myers. Thank you all so much for engaging, for the love, for the support, man. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to open up the phone lines here in a second because, again, I want to say thank you to the Tennessee folks. The love and support we felt from the folks there in Knoxville, really, really special. Really special. Guys, I'll put it to you this way. And the guys that I stayed with, and I take you all the way back, and I just dropped a video, by the way, on social media, which kind of highlights this, but I want to echo it yet again. I go back to March of 2022. I'm in the city for the South Carolina-Tennessee baseball series. First time meeting all these guys, the Knoxville Rippers, as they're now known as, but first time meeting all these guys, and you know, you never know when you meet people, man, how they're going to be, and especially when you're fans of different teams and stuff like that. Could have been any kind of way. And they showed love. They showed support. They were like, man, what you're doing is really, really cool. You should make a Tennessee version of it. Like, that would be a really cool thing. Like, love the way you make content. Love the style in which you're going about things. That was a key moment in life for me. That was a key moment in life, really, truly, right? Like, life is a series of moments that take you down a path, and decisions, obviously. We all make decisions day in, day out. It all guides our paths in life. We forge our path. But there's also things that happen, which is a great lesson for everyone. It costs $0.00 to be a good person. $0.00 to be a kind person, to be a genuine person, to show love, right? It costs nothing to be encouraging, right? To give encouragement. You know, there's different forms of giving. Costs $0 to give encouragement to people and be positive. And, you know, even if it's something that has nothing to do with you or whatever, to be positive and supportive of people's dreams and aspirations and goals costs $0 to do that. And you never know the effect that it's going to have on a person or on a chain reaction series of events. It's a great lesson because my Tennessee guys, man, without their love and support back in March of 2022, because the wheels got spinning a long time ago for expansion and scaling and SEC Unfiltered. But without that, listen, without that, I'm not willing to sit here and say I would have had the confidence that SEC Unfiltered could have been what it is now and what it's even continuing to become. So, you know, it was so fitting the way the weekend went, getting to link up with those guys yet again, hanging out with them all day Saturday, and then ending the night on the field in Nashville, smoking a cigar, hanging out with all the great Vols. I had other people reaching out. Hey, you were here a couple years ago at the baseball series. Yeah. Like, the fact people remembered all that and were showing love and were supportive, man. I mean, it was just, I just week in, week out, I feel like I have to pinch myself because I'm truly living a dream, man. Truly living the dream. I feel like I have to pinch myself here. Like, life doesn't feel real at this point. You know, the SEC Unfiltered Tour as a whole, life doesn't feel real. It just doesn't. It doesn't feel real. But it was really special going back to Rocky Top because the people there were so influential in my journey. And I fully believe we probably would not be at this spot without their love and support. And so for that, forever Rocky Top, I will forever have immense love for you. I will forever have immense love for the Vols. I will forever have immense love for those folks, for my guys in Knoxville, and just for everybody there, man, that's been so supportive and shown so much love. And again, man, it costs $0 to be encouraging, to be uplifting. And those guys didn't have to do that, and they did. And for that, I'm just forever grateful to them. And again, to the fine folks of Tennessee, man. As far as the game, I'll tell you this, because I went on here last week and had a ton to say about, you know, Death Valley and LSU. And, you know, it's really difficult, right? Like, recency bias will kill you in this because every stadium, it feels like, is louder than the last, and they're all insanely loud. And, like, you know, so I'm not going to sit here and try to, like, let's go through and do our power rankings today. Or what's the loudest stadium that Chris has been in. I'll tell you this, though. They play on the scoreboard throughout the game. Kneeling loud. Get kneeling loud. Kneeling loud. Kneeling loud is different, man. I mean, kneeling loud is a different level of loud. That place was shaking all throughout the second half. Like, kneeling loud. When you say kneeling loud, it is different. It differentiates itself from normal loud in a stadium. I mean, it was right up there with LSU loudest stadiums I've ever been in my entire life. I mean, the pop of the crowd was, again, it was right there with LSU. It was right there with LSU. You know, everybody wants to do the whole, what was it, the loudest stadium ever been? Was it louder than LSU? It was just as loud as LSU. It was just as loud as LSU. I'll put it that way. It was one of the loudest environments. I could not hear myself think. I couldn't hear the guy next to me trying to have a conversation about a play. I couldn't hear him next to me. Kneeling loud, a different loud. Flat out. It is a different level of noise in that place. So, guys, I want to get to your questions, your comments, your calls. Let's open up the phone lines. But again, I can't say thank you enough, man, to all the great Tennessee folks. Again, the run we are on with the SEC Unfiltered Tour, it's hard for me to put it into words. It really is, to a point to where visiting teams are begging us not to go to the game they're playing in. As you all know at this point, we are going to Nashville, Tennessee. Texas folks, it's all love. I got nothing but love for you, but we had to go somewhere, and I'm sorry, the bids of LSU fans outweighed your bids to keep us away. Now, listen, man, it's the run that we're on. 4 straight home underdogs have won. 3 straight field rushes. I've never experienced anything like it in my entire life. It's been incredible. Guys, let's jump to the phone lines.
Call from Robbie Davis, Zaxby's Hall of Famer.
Robbie Davis, what's going on, man? You're on the air.
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you asking. What's up?
First of all, I think we played really well on the defensive side of the ball this past week against Oklahoma. Honestly, I was not expecting us to I honestly thought we were going to struggle. And we really kind of did struggle a little bit on offense, but our defense definitely showed up and showed what our defense is definitely capable of. So at this point, if we just stay focused in this bye week and get ready for A&M, and our defense plays the way they played against Oklahoma, the only game I see where we are going to have a problem is probably Clemson, in my opinion.
I mean, listen, I think that defense for South Carolina gives them a shot to win probably every single game on the way out. The front seven is as good as any in the SEC. Truly, you got to give Beamer and them a lot of credit. And I would say this too: you got to give the fan base, specifically those with the collective, a lot of credit for going out and building the roster and getting the talent necessary. I mean, that's why they're better.
Yeah.
We can talk about coaching all you want, but you're better because you went out and got personnel. You went out and got Kyle Kennard. You went out and got Dylan Stewart. I think the folks in Columbia that make the things happen with the NIL and the collectives, they deserve a lot of credit for putting their money where their mouth is and building the roster in the way necessary, again, to have the type of defensive front, to have the type of defense they've got this year. Also, if you know anything about Travian Robertson and you know anything about his mentor, Brad Lawing, those in Columbia should not be surprised at all what they're seeing from that defensive front. You knew it was a matter of time. You know, he needed the personnel, obviously, but if you've been watching South Carolina football for quite a while and you know anything about the late, great Brad Lawing, which rest in peace to Brad, you shouldn't be surprised by Travian Robertson, who was, again, a descendant of his, a disciple of his, if you will, played under him, was taught by him. You're seeing a lot of similar things that Brad Lawing and company did when he was at South Carolina with some of the best defensive lines in school history. So, you know, Travian Robertson, friend of the show, friend of mine, couldn't be happier for him. And obviously great to see South Carolina get back to having feared defensive fronts. And certainly Oklahoma felt that.
But also, I'm getting more and more concerned about having to play Vanderbilt in a couple of weeks. Okay.
Yeah, you should be.
Because I am actually, because I mean they run a offensive set that South Carolina has struggled with over the years. We do not play well on the defensive side of the ball against teams that run the triple option historically. Okay, we don't. So we have got that. Our defensive coaches need to figure out something to take that element out of Vanderbilt's arsenal and turn them into a one-dimensional offense somehow. Because if we don't, there is a decent chance we might lose.
Hmm.
And it scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think I think South Carolina's
the game against Kentucky.
So. I think South Carolina is one of those teams. There's many of them in the SEC where South Carolina can win or lose every week, and I'm not trying to like cop out like how they're going to finish, but their defense is good enough to win any game. Their offense is bad enough to lose any game. That's what South Carolina is this year. So and again, there's other they're volatile. There's many teams in the SEC that are that way. I'm not saying it as a negative. It just is what it is. I think South Carolina and the SEC is beating up on each other too. It's a crazy, unpredictable league this year. So, Robbie, I appreciate the call, my man. We're gonna jump around. We got people trying to call in, but really good stuff, man. It's always good to hear from you.
No problem. You have a great rest of your week, okay?
Yeah, man. You're the man, Robbie. Appreciate you. Great stuff from Robbie Davis, guys. Phone lines are open. 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. Luke RJ says, what was your second choice in regards to the SEC Unfiltered Tour? Yeah, I would probably say A&M LSU, but I'm saving A&M for hopefully the last game of the season. That's the College Station trip I want to make. Also, Luke, it just made sense, man. Like, Vanderbilt just got ranked in the top 25. Texas is coming to town. And again, I'd like to save because I'm not repeating. So this felt like as good an opportunity as any to get to Nashville. And so we're going to take advantage of it. And really, ideally, I would like to get to College Station for the final weekend of the season. We shall see. But, that's kind of the dream scenario. So we'll see. 1 week at a time. Vandy was the choice this week. Let's go ahead and jump to the phone lines here.
From.
Oh.
What's going on, man? You're on the air.
Yo, I got one thing to say, man. It don't look like Rocky getting it done, man. They should have kept that Anderson boy in there. He got a 4-piece this week, 4 touchdowns, man. They talked real bad about him, man, and got him up out of here. I wish they would have stuck with him. Now South Carolina is not getting it done offensively at all.
Oh, Robbie should have stuck with Robbie Anderson, you're saying?
No, Mario Anderson.
Oh, Mario Anderson. Okay. Jeez, that's a name I didn't expect to hear this year. Yeah, I mean, offensively they got issues, man. There's no question. They need answers.
Mario. I appreciate the call.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. I mean, listen, South Carolina's got question marks. I don't know if that would have solved it, but anything would have helped. Let's see. Gamecock fan, Football Frank is going to Nashville. You're missing out. Chris Phillips is going to Nashville. Probably just not the same weekend as you. Let's see. Terminator 98. LSU loses this one against A&M, but think A&M loses at least 2 more this year, and this might be LSU's only SEC loss. Yeah, it is kind of interesting. I mean, LSU still got Alabama, which Alabama's in their own world of hurt right now, right? They've got plenty of issues, but LSU going into college. I mean, I think LSU is on especially if they win this one, guys, I would almost guarantee they'll be in the SEC championship. That's the thing LSU's got going for them. No SEC losses, no conference losses. So they win this one. I feel pretty confident the Tigers, the Bayou Bengals, are in the SEC title game. But that's going to be a good one. Going to be a really, really good one in College Station. Derek says A&M could win by 3 or lose by 21. Both teams lack consistency, so predicting their performance is a crapshoot. No question. I mean, we'll try to do it. We certainly try to do it. No, it's. I got to be honest. So I'm not. We'll drop our preview for that game tomorrow. I'm not on that preview. That's Dave Shoemate and Cole Thompson. I lean LSU in that football game. I do. I'm high on LSU. Honestly, man, I've still got questions about A&M. I do. I've still got questions about A&M. I just Connor Wigman didn't play great against Mississippi State. I don't know. Now, these are typically the games A&M shows up for, but I lean LSU in that football game. I do. Stephanie Lee in the chat. Caleb's in the chat. What's up? Mike Tyler's in the chat. Manny in the chat. What's going on? Shout out to all the folks in the chat, man. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for the love, for the support. Again, we're taking your questions, comments, calls as well, 803-500-1485. You can also text that number, 803-500-1485 on a beautiful Monday. Beautiful Monday. October the 21st. October the 21st. Let's see. Steven, I'm going to laugh when the Ags, I'm assuming you meant to say the Ags, not the Gas. The Ags are sitting undefeated in SEC when Texas rolls into town. Hey, listen, it could happen. It could happen. It absolutely could happen. Ryan Slayton says, LSU, go Tigers. Yeah, I feel like I built up even more goodwill with LSU folks this week because I'm not going to College Station. So you're welcome. You're welcome. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Edward.
John Edward, you're on the air.
Yo, how's it going, bro?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. I just, I want to echo something Robbie said. I'm like, you can, dude, with this defense, the way they're playing, I'm going to say it, and it just may sound repetitive to some people, but with this defense, you can absolutely win the rest of the games out for South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, I think South Carolina, again, one of the better defenses in the conference. So it's the key when you're playing the Gamecocks will be just don't make that detrimental offensive mistake. Because I think if you make South Carolina beat you with their offense, that's probably your path to victory. I think we saw Ole Miss do that, obviously. But no, I mean, listen, that defense gives you a shot in every game. It does. That defensive front is ferocious. A defense that's got a knack for creating turnovers. And, again, they upgraded their personnel. So it's going to be very interesting to see how South Carolina finishes the rest of the way out. No doubt. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
And typically they play well in November. Typically they play well in November under Shane Beamer. So.
Yeah, and the fact that here's how I look at it. You got 3 of 5 after the this week's bye week. You got 3 of 5 to close out at home with A&M Missouri and obviously Wofford. But I mean, obviously Wofford's I'm not taking offense. I'm not trying to take a slot at Wofford or anything, but after that Wofford,
Wofford will be a dub. Yeah, Wofford will be a win for sure.
And I said coming into the year that I thought we'd get this Missouri monkey off our back, and I got outside South Carolina. It's not just because I think we'll beat Missouri in a couple weeks. I mean, obviously got A&M before them, but I just think we'll get that monkey off our back and beat Missouri, beating that freaking nerd that head coach. So I've got questions about Missouri too. I don't know about you. There's serious questions in Missouri.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean listen, they're inconsistent as any, man. They're up and down. Brady Cook had to come back from the hospital to come back and lead into a win, which what a warrior he is. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, man. The SEC is so volatile this year. Every week which is great. It's great for us. Great games.
Yeah.
Been to a lot of great games, so it's a lot of fun. It's a lot
going to, and I'll let you go, but even going to, let's just say Starkville this year, and even going to Nashville, Vandy's better this year, and we'll see if they can carry it past this year. But even historically going to Vanderbilt and Mississippi State, it's not like a cakewalk. You going into Nashville or Starkville this year and getting out of there. You may get out of there with a win, but you're not going to go in there and just handle.
Yeah, I mean I think Vandy's a good team. Like I genuinely think they're a good team. So that's.
So you think? Let me ask you real quick about that, since that's where you're going. You think Vandy will win the game? Can they hang in there, or?
Well, you'll have to go. Yeah,
you'll
have to go check out the pick. I do think Vandy plus 17.5 is a really good bet. I would expect a close game. I am expecting a close game. I think Vanderbilt can win the football game. I do. Now, listen, Texas from a personnel standpoint, top to bottom, is better. If Texas comes out, plays their best football game, I don't know that it matters what Vanderbilt does. But listen, I mean, two teams with two completely different vibes right now. Vandy is ranked in the top 25 for the first time in 10 years. Texas just got punched in the face by Georgia. Who responds better, or who responds? I mean, I guess the question really is, how does Texas respond to what they just dealt with Georgia? 38 yards of offense in the first half. You interchange quarterbacks. What's the vibe in the locker room because of that move? you know, I mean, listen, I think from a pure talent standpoint, personnel standpoint, Texas is a better football team. Alabama had more personnel than Vanderbilt. So, you know, I think it's one of those things. It's gonna take a similar path to victory for Vandy. Gonna need to create turnovers. Probably gonna need a defensive score. But I mean, listen, doubt Diego Pavia at your own risk, and doubt the SEC Unfiltered Tour at your own risk. That's all I'll say. So, yeah, I think
exactly.
Vandy can absolutely win the football game. Yeah, I think Vandy can absolutely win the game. Yes.
Gotcha. All right, dude. Yeah. Thanks for taking the call, and I'll talk to you again soon. Okay.
Yeah, John Edward, appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. Great stuff. Great stuff, John Edward. I saw my guy, by the way. Tyler McComas in the chat. Wanted to highlight Tyler. Tyler McComas, in case you guys don't know, covers the Sooners for the Ref there in Norman. Says shout out to all the Gamecocks that came to Norman. Awesome fans. Thanks for ending the game within 5 minutes. Yeah. Oklahoma's a mess. Oklahoma is a flat-out mess. The offense stinks. I mean, there's a reason Seth Luttrell was just fired, which I think was the right move by Venables. But, I mean, they are just complete disarray. Let's jump back to the phone lines here.
TriStar.
What's going on, man? You're on the air.
Oh, man, Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, doing great. We obviously had a great win against Alabama this past weekend.
Indeed, yes.
Defense is as advertised. Offense still needs some work, but you know, I like what I've seen out of the second half. Dylan Sampson is an absolute dog. Like, that guy should be, to me, on a Heisman watch list. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but I wouldn't be mad if he ended up in New York just for how well he has played and for the fact he's got 17 touchdowns and we're just halfway through the season.
I also thought I thought Nico grew up in that second half a lot. I did. I thought he grew up.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, made some huge throws. I mean, to your point, Sampson's a beast. Love his game. Love the way he runs the football. But, you know, the light bulb, I don't know if the light bulb fully clicked on, but I said going in that game that, you know, the light bulb moment for Nico Iamaleava had to happen. I think what you saw in the second half was as close to that as we've seen this year. Of at minimum, he grew up in those moments. I mean, he finally sacked up, made some big throws, under pressure made some big throws, and sure enough, Tennessee wins the football game. So a lot of credit to the defense too, man. I mean, Tennessee, they've got championship-level run game, championship-level defense. If Nico can come on, you know, Tennessee has got as good a shot as anybody, in my opinion. So it was yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, thank God we have a bye week this week, you know, because I think that first bye week going into Arkansas, I think they actually kind of took us out of a rhythm because, I don't know, just something fell off those couple weeks where it didn't seem to work right. You know, we lost one, then we won one. But I think this is a good time to go. John Campbell, Lance Hurd heal up. Because here's my thing from what I've seen, just as an observer, going back and just watching the offensive line, that's been really the issue on our offense. Has been the offensive line more than anything, in my opinion. And Lance Hurd, for example, I mean, he's almost kind of like a Walter Nolan. Like, at first I was thinking he was like a Walter Nolan. Like, if he's motivated, he'll look like the best player in the country. But I think with him, it's a conditioning thing. Like, he's not used to that offense, and he looks gassed a lot and kind of lead-footed and flat-footed. And we'll see as the season goes. Maybe he gets more conditioned. I don't know. But looking at the rest of the season, I mean, we get Kentucky after the bye week. We get them at home, and usually how that series is where the game's played. If the game is in Lexington, that game will be a one-possession slugfest. If that game is in Neyland, in Knoxville, that one will be probably Tennessee wins by at least 2 or 3 possessions.
Yeah, if there's one thing Kentucky doesn't do, they don't win in Knoxville, to your point. Kentucky does not win in Knoxville, ever.
No.
Ever.
No, and they usually lose pretty badly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying history. Now, who knows? Maybe they come up there and Vandergriff has a great game. I don't know. But, you know, then after that you get Mississippi State at home. Mississippi State gave Georgia all they wanted. So, I mean, obviously, I don't think it's going to be a pushover, but we should handle business in that one because I just don't think Mississippi State's that good. Nothing against Jeff Levy, but, again, you know, after having to take over after, you know, Mike Leach's death and all that stuff, kind of a tough situation. Then after that, obviously, we go to Georgia. We're going to beat the team until I see us do it. And under Heupel, so for now, I'm saying Georgia wins a close one. It's in Athens. It's at Sanford. But it wouldn't shock me. And then you get UTEP, and that'll be easy dub. And then, of all things, now I said this could be a possibility. Like, you know, we'll win that Alabama game, we'll get some confidence. Then we go through the rest of the season. Who knows? Maybe upset Georgia in a close one, and then we lose at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that Vandy game all of a sudden, man, is really interesting. So,
feels like this just feels like that kind of season.
Yeah, I mean,
a
lot of teams could say that, man. I think rivalry weekend will be as wacky as it's ever been. But that Tennessee Vandy game's finally got some juice. It's finally got some juice. So.
Oh, absolutely. And let me say this about that Georgia Texas game real quick. You know, number one, that call should not have been overturned because number one, I've never seen that where they call like a hold or a pierce or something like that. Something reversible. Like once it's called, it's called. But then because the fan, you know, as the late great Ernie Ladd once said about people in Cleveland having a riot in a wrestling match, you know, the natives are getting restless. I can't believe that they actually went and overturned the call because they was afraid of the fans. I mean, you know, I don't understand why the SEC officiating crew would be afraid of a Southwest Conference team. I don't know why, you know. I mean, yeah, they got the patch, but they'll never be considered SEC. And same thing with Arkansas or A&M or Missouri or Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen that before. An overturn on a pass interference. I've never seen that.
Shoot, I wish Tennessee could have gotten some of those calls over the years against Alabama.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah,
that 21 game against Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen anything like that in my life. That was crazy.
Well, anyways, I'll let you go on that. You know, thanks for having me on, and y'all have a good day. And it's going to be a good bye week. And you know, yes, as I said, they will never be considered SEC. They'll always be Southwest Conference. But thank you. Have a good day.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Great call. Great stuff. Oh man, people using this as an opportunity to dance on the graves of Texas and Oklahoma. And I mean, listen, Oklahoma's already been humbled. They've been getting humbled. Texas, you got punched in the face. I mean, it's just you got punched in the face by Georgia, which, listen, you're not the first. You certainly won't be the last, but they got punched in the face. So, that again, that's why it's the big question of, like, do we see Texas come out against Vanderbilt, hair on fire, you know, win this game in block fashion, or are they flat? Does Texas come out flat? They're not all that fired up to play a Vanderbilt. They're not taking them seriously. I don't think Vandy's going to sneak up on Texas. I'd be stunned if that happened. I'll be stunned if that happened. Adam says, when will Tennessee score in the first half again? Yeah, what has it been like? They haven't scored a touch, or have they not scored at all? I was going to say haven't scored a touchdown, I think, in 3 games? Arkansas, they didn't, right? They didn't score at all, right? It was 3-0 down there in Fayetteville. So they haven't scored at all, I guess, in 3 games in the first half. Crazy number. Crazy stat. Absolutely crazy stat. Let's see. Terminator 98, Texas really beat Mississippi State and Oklahoma and thought they were the best in the league. Yeah, I mean, listen, and I kind of hate, the entire crew at SEC Unfiltered. We all picked Texas, and we all picked Texas to win by double digits. So that's, that one blew up in our face, no doubt. That one blew up in our face. That was tough. But you win some, you lose some, and some you get right, and some you get wrong. It is what it is. So 803-500-1485, guys. Appreciate y'all, man. Phone lines are ringing off the hook today. Sigma Nomad says, anchor down. Anchor down. I'm excited, man. It feels like there's a lot of excitement around this game. I'm wondering what the crowd's going to be like. Is it going to be heavy Texas fans, or like are Vandy fans going to show up and show out for this game? I hope Vandy fans show up, man. I really do. I really do. Let's see an atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like if you're a Vandy fan, create an atmosphere. Create an atmosphere. Ham Solo, first time since the 60s that Tennessee's gone 3 straight games without scoring in the first half. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let's see. Make defense great again. Please don't go to the A&M game this week. Make defense great again. I'm already confirmed going to Vanderbilt, Texas, and Nashville. So you have nothing to worry about. We're already confirmed. We've already announced it. The graphic is out. The tour is headed to Nashville, Tennessee. You can catch us out on Broadway. Luke RJ, Mizzou at Bama. Who do you think is going to win? That's a great question. Bama's a 13-point favorite in that game. That is a Luke RJ. That is a wildly fascinating game. Right now, I think I've got to lean Bama at home. I've got to. But does Bama win by 2 touchdowns? Like, is Bama 2 touchdowns better than anybody right now? I mean, I feel like Bama continues to get a lot of benefit of the doubt because they're Alabama. But are they 2 touchdowns better than anybody? I find that hard to believe. Really, truly. I find that very hard to believe. So, I'd probably lean Bama right now. We got a text here. Pretty sure Oklahoma and Texas are regretting coming to the SEC. LOL. Well, I can tell you this, man. What Oklahoma is experiencing is what we warned them about in the preseason. That whole SEC grind thing. Here you go. This is the SEC grind we were all talking about. Where, especially, too, where when things start going sideways, if you're not careful, they'll go really sideways. Like, there's just nowhere to hide. You're going to keep getting beat up on every week, right? I mean, you play a South Carolina who, you know, I'm sure Oklahoma looked at their schedule over the summer and was like, yeah, that's a dub, for sure. At home, no doubt, that's a win. And it's like, dude, there are no weeks off. There are no weeks off. There are no weeks you get to like, oh, let's kick our feet up and take a breath. There are none of those. There are none of those. So, you know, I think Oklahoma's experiencing that. I mean, they've obviously had a nightmare season too, man. They've been terrible offensively. You fire Seth Luttrell, your offensive coordinator. I mean, I think it was deserved, honestly. I mean, it's one thing. I understand you had injuries and stuff like that, but I mean, it's been so uninspiring offensively. Lack of creativity. It's just been so bad. It's been so bad. So, let's see. Anyways, guys, 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. It's so funny. I've gotten DMs from people. Which was louder, man? LSU or Knoxville? Which was louder? You got to pick one. Baton Rouge or Knoxville? Who was louder? Who was louder? And I will say this. LSU, I was lower level, like 20 rows up from the field. Knoxville, I was upper deck, about 15 rows up. So does that change the noise dynamic? I will say this. At its peak, LSU was louder than Neyland Stadium. It was. I think Knoxville was louder for longer than Baton Rouge was. Excuse me, guys. Baton Rouge was nutty. I mean, it was straight up nutty. Like, it was insane. Knoxville, Neyland was also incredibly. I mean, it was, again, I would say at its peak, it was nearly just, it was like right there. It was like, I mean, getting up over 120 decibels, man, almost 130. Like, it was crazy loud in there. It was crazy loud in there. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Dougie, D-O-U.
Dougie, what's going on? You're on the air.
First off, I gotta say, round the bowl and down the whole roll, turd roll. God dang it! Give me the Doors versus Texas. Oh man! So my main question: do you think Tim Beck is going to be hired somewhere else as a head coach, seeing that what he's done at Vanderbilt?
I mean, I think he's certainly going to have offers. Yeah, I think he's going to have offers. Now, whether he wants to leave or not, it's kind of up to him. But I would assume he's going to have offers.
That's what scares me because, I mean, I think without him, I don't see Vanderbilt being the way they're being this season. I don't see it building next season without him, honestly.
Well, I mean, that's, dude, you got to go out if you're Clark Lee, man, and just build. I mean, listen, that's a compliment of a great, of a good program is that, you know, your coaches are getting at least offered or they're getting hired away. Like, I mean, the best schools deal with it. So, I mean, I guess you'll have to replace Pavia too. I don't think he's got another year. So, yeah, I mean, listen, yeah, I mean, they're going to have to replace guys. They're going to have to replace coaches. It's just, it's what happens. But I think this year was a really encouraging sign that Clark Lee can go out and get the right people.
Hey, I mean, shoot, I agree too. Pavia power. I love how much y'all been covering Vanderbilt. As you know, there's not too much coverage. You know, there's only a few players actually covering.
Right.
So,
nah, yeah, man. Listen, we believe in showing love across the conference, man. Because listen, you never know. You know what I mean? And obviously, Vandy, we value Vandy as much as anybody in the league, man. So love to see what's happening in Nashville, and happy that the Vandy folks have something to cheer about. And like I said, man, can't wait to get to Nashville. It's gonna be a good time.
I got you, and I'm also curious to hear what are your thoughts on the NIL opportunities now in Nashville.
Hopefully they're increasing. I mean, I think hopefully they're increasing, obviously. I mean, from what the people that I've talked to that cover Vandy, I'm not nearly as familiar as they are. You know, they said that was an area that obviously the Doors were lacking. So, I mean, I hope that they are increasing. It's one of those things. You look at last year in the portal and all the guys that left Vanderbilt, I think it was very clear, obviously, the NIL was something they needed to improve on. So, I think winning cures all. Winning should help improve the NIL situation.
Honestly, man, Vanderbilt, $10 billion endowment. It's the richest school in the SEC. They can afford it. And, there's no excuses.
Yeah. You got to put your money where your mouth is, man. Make football a priority. That's the biggest thing. Again, the folks I talked to that cover Vandy, that's, they feel like it's just, it's possible. It's just Vandy's got to step up and make football a priority.
I mean, shoot, if you make it a priority, you can make money off of football. That's not how that goes.
No, exactly. I agree with you 100%, man.
But, hey, anchor down. Glad that you said you're coming to Nashville, right?
Yes, I will be in town Friday afternoon and be there through Sunday. Obviously, be at the game Saturday. We'll be tailgating all day. So, really excited for it, man. I've been to Nashville once before. It was for SEC Media Days. I did not stop by Vanderbilt at all, so I've never even seen the stadium, anything of the sort. Really, really excited to hang out, man. It's going to be a really good time. I'm super pumped. Super pumped.
That's amazing. And do you think Nate's going to, stay since he doesn't get too many playing opportunities this year?
Yeah, who's going to stay?
Nate Johnson, quarterback.
I would assume so. Yeah, I would assume he will. So, especially if he's kind of being looked at as like the next guy, then yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, I feel like if they get someone out the portal, that's going to make him leave. But, I mean, hey, he has a year to learn the system now. He's about to have a year. I mean, with all his talent, I think he could be better than Pavia if he just gets the system down.
Yeah, I mean, you just hope the next guy can have that killer instinct that Pavia's got is it's something special, man. Not everybody's got that. So I think that's one of the things that makes him so much fun to watch and such a good player, man. Such a great leader. You know, he's got that it factor. So you just wonder if the next guy can have it. But I mean, dude, I'm excited to see. I mean, obviously looking past this year, man, Clark Lee, can they keep it going, man? It's going to be fun to follow.
Hey, brother, have a blessed day now.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Anchor down. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Dougie calling in. Great stuff, man. How about some Vandy fans tuning in, chiming in, calling in? Love to see that, man. The excitement in Nashville is at an all-time high. Make defense great again. Just jealous you got to experience both. I went to LSU Ole Miss. It was crazy. I've always wanted to go to a big game at Neyland. LSU hardly ever plays Tennessee. Yeah, listen, make defense great again. I'm going to stand on this take. Still to this point, Knoxville trip was great. Knoxville was deafening loud. LSU's the loudest stadium I've ever been in. I'm not going to walk that back or, change that a week later just because, listen, Neyland was deafening. It was. LSU's still the loudest stadium I've ever been in. Yeah, it's the loudest stadium. Takes nothing away. I mean, dude, we're splitting hairs. We are, but if you're going to ask me and you're making me give you an answer, LSU is still the loudest stadium I've ever been in my entire life. So, but Neyland was deafening. I mean, that last interception, that place exploded. Takes nothing away from my trip. Takes nothing away. I hope Tennessee fans don't take that personally or anything. I would hope not, because again, we really are splitting hairs. But LSU at night was different. It just was, man. It was different. So there you go. Everybody's asking me that. Which one was louder? I mean, I'm not going to change up a week later, just to appease the masses because we were just there. I got to be honest, and it was LSU, man. Again, that takes nothing away. That takes nothing away from how incredible Knoxville, Tennessee was. So, like I said, man, Neyland loud. Like when they say Neyland loud, I mean, that place gets loud. Luke RJ. Florida crushed Kentucky. Thoughts on the game? Do you think Auburn will get a much-needed win at Kentucky? Luke RJ, somebody's got to win that game, right? Somebody has to. I mean, here's the thing, Luke RJ. Can Auburn win the football game? Yeah, for sure. Do you trust Auburn to win the football game? Do I trust that Auburn won't make some boneheaded play late in the football game? No, I don't. I mean, but the thing is you're like, are they really going to go winless in SEC play? Like, I mean, this might be their best shot on an SEC win. Forgive me for not remembering all of the schedule. They've still got Bama. They've got Vandy at home, which I think is probably a more difficult game than this game at Kentucky. Kentucky, I'll tell you this, I don't know what to think of Kentucky, man. I don't know what to think of Kentucky. Might be the final year for Mark Stoops. Might be the final year. So if I had to go right now, I'd probably lean Kentucky, but that's not an official pick for me. I really don't know. My guy, DGD, what's going on? Appreciate you, DGD. We'll be in Athens in a few weeks. Looking forward to that. Yeah, we will be in Athens. DBO, imagine if LSU closed the north end zone, which they can't because the street behind it, it would be even louder, which is scary. Kyle, hope you had a great time in Knoxville. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for the sticker, Kyle. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Was great to link up with you in Knoxville, man. So many great Vols. And yeah, we did dish out a lot of stickers. Kyle, glad you got one. Had a blast, man. I mean, I can't wait to get back to Knoxville. The people there are great. Beautiful city, beautiful campus. The venues are incredible, like the stadiums. I mean, it's, It's a great time. Knoxville's a great time, man. I got nothing but great things to say about it. So, appreciate the love and support, Kyle. Really good stuff. Kyle Reynolds, with the way the defense is playing, the way Florida's looked the last 2 weeks, realistically, what do you think is their floor and ceiling for the last 5 games? It's a great question, Kyle, because Florida's last 5 games are brutal. What? Florida's on the bye this week, I believe, right? Then they've got Georgia and Jacksonville. They've got Ole Miss. They've got LSU. They've got who else? I know Florida State. Who else am I missing, though? They've got Georgia. Is that it? Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State? Oh, Texas. They've got Texas as well. Texas as well. Oh, ceiling? What is that? 6 games? Georgia, LSU, Texas, Ole Miss, Florida State. No, 5 games. Ceiling is probably, see, you could say 3-2, but I think that's too aggressive. I think it's 2-3. I think the ceiling's 2-3 because I don't think you're going to beat both Ole Miss and LSU. I don't think you're beating Georgia. You're not beating Texas. Bottom line, I don't think Florida's beating either Georgia or Texas. Bottom line, I don't see it happening. Florida State, you're probably going to beat because they're terrible. They're awful. Absolutely awful. And LSU and Ole Miss, again, I think you could split. I don't think you're going to win both. I just don't see it. Make defense great again. LSU needs to chair back the whole place. It would reduce capacity, but will be way more comfortable. I tell you where's got really small seats, where I just was in Knoxville. Knees to back to knees, baby. Just fit in tight in there to get 102,000 or whatever it is in that building. Still, though, good time. It was a good time. Really good time. Guys, got about 5 minutes or so left here on this Monday. 803-500-1485. That's 803-500-1485. I tell you, man, the SEC is just wide open this year. It is so wide open. You know, I'm not stunned by what Georgia did. I feel like I should have seen it coming. I'm kind of kicking myself for not seeing it coming. Really, truly. Because it's one of those things where it's like, dude, did we really think Georgia was just going to go away? Just fade into oblivion, right? Like Georgia is just, Georgia's cooked. They're done. It's like, did we really, really think that? So, but the SEC's wide open, man. In regards to like picking the SEC championship right now, who knows, man? DBO says that was definitely Texas's welcome to the SEC moment. Kyle says, I was right beside you. QQ is hell on the knees. Yeah, QQ was fun, man. I will say, though, shout out to my guy that got me the ticket. Saved me a lot of money on tickets. I'll put it that way. But I thought the view was beautiful. I always think the weirdest people that try to throw shade at us is like, and I've had great seats for so much of this tour, like lower level, beautiful seats. But like, people that try to throw shade when you sit in the upper deck, it's like, bro, who cares? Like, who really cares? I loved it. I loved being up there. That was a blast. I had a really good time up there. I thought QQ was amazing. Now, getting up there was a bitch. I couldn't find it to save my life. But once I finally made it, it was a really good time. It was a really good time. But yeah, dude, I had never been to Neyland before. I was so lost. I was so lost. So lost. Thank goodness to the ushers and all the great folks out there that helped us out. because I had no clue where I was going. DVO, LSU A&M might determine a lot with how the rest of the season will play out. It very well could. I think you're absolutely right. I think it will. Yeah, I think it will. Yep. In regards to playoff, SEC championship, I mean, it feels like a playoff game in its own right, doesn't it? It feels like a playoff game in its own right. Really, truly. Luke RJ, unpopular opinion. I prefer to sit in the upper deck or on the 50 so you can see the whole field like a TV view. I mean, listen, I think that's very fair, and I feel the same way a lot of times. I mean, yeah. I also like to sit. I love getting the field view and like seeing what is going on. So, love seeing what's going on. Kyle Duckett, like seeing the whole field. Here's a question. Can Tennessee beat Georgia if Nico hits the deep throws? Well, Kyle, he's got to. I mean, you notice in that game against Bama, right? You get 2 to 3 of those shots a game. 3 to 4 if you're lucky. But 2 to 3 of those shots a game, you got to hit them. I mean, Kyle, you were there next to me. How many times did Nico miss a wide open guy? I mean, these guys some of them are wide open. And it's just, you got to hit them. You just have to hit them. And so, I mean, you think to yourself that at some point, he's going to start connecting, but you got to hit him. You got to hit him. You have to. James Kendall, OU is more than a portal class away from fixing that O-line. Hard to imagine they hit on all 5. Yeah, James, Oklahoma's got, 9 sacks in the game? They got serious issues on the offensive line. I mean, really, they've got serious issues on the offense as a whole. It'll be a complete revamp this offseason for them. I mean, just fired your offensive coordinator. So they've got a lot to fix over the offseason. Lot to fix. So, yeah. But credit to South Carolina for exposing them, man. I mean, that was a hell of a performance. That D-line's ferocious. That D-line is for real. So, that D-line is for real. Again, guys, let's see. Let's get to DGD. He says, just want to let everyone know we came into the Texas game with 11 sacks in the season. We almost doubled up our total. Doubled Texas's O-line sack number. Listen, hey, Michael Williams, money game for him, played really well. Yeah, that defensive front was active. Stackhouse and the boys, Warren Brinson, they were active on Saturday night. Guys, again, in closing, I want to say thank you so much to the fine folks of Rocky Top. Knoxville was absolutely incredible. Enjoyed every second there, man, from Friday when we got in town all the way to Sunday when we left. The game and game day and tailgating and all of it was second to none. The hospitality, I tell you, man, the hospitality in Knoxville, the people were so friendly, so welcoming, welcomed us with open arms, extremely passionate. And again, man, like I said, my Knoxville buddies, I'm forever grateful to them for their kindness, for their generosity, for their support. It costs $0 to do those things and to be those things. And they're just great people and great human beings. And, I'll never forget, obviously, that interaction we had March of 2022, the encouragement they gave me to pursue the SEC Unfiltered venture, and just how fitting it is that to come back there and my first ever Tennessee game ends up that way. And, SEC Unfiltered's on the field in post-game, smoking a victory cigar or smoking a cigar on the field. It's just, it's poetic. It's really poetic. And again, I can't say thank you enough to all the fine folks of Tennessee, and can't wait to get back to Rocky Top. On to Nashville we go. The SEC Unfiltered Tour will look to keep the good times rolling. I cannot wait to get to Nashville, hang out with all the great doors. It's going to be one hell of a time, and Vandy, Texas should be a heck of a game. Cannot wait for that. Guys, that's going to do it all for us. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Again, guys, thank you so much to all those who engaged, interacted, called in, left us comments, all that good stuff, guys. Again, I can't say thank you enough. The Monday Power Hour has been a massive success this season, and it's all because of you. Guys, again, appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much. Hey, make sure you like, subscribe, turn notifications. Check us out via podcast where you get those. Check us out across social media. Follow along. And again, stay tuned because content bleeding out of the eyeballs. As always, guys, I'm Chris Phillips here on Monday Power Hour. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. And we will catch you on the other side.